Alright, so today we're working on what is it, an Ariens 5524. This thing does not run right. It sounds to me to be like a carburetor issue, so I figured I'd take it apart and we'd check it out. So if I could get this out with my gloves, that would be handy, but I can't. So what I want to do first is open up the carb and check it out, see what it looks like, because this thing was running fine and then it just basically cut out. We're going to pull out that and this. I already checked the oil, it's full. Could use a little bit, but it's well within range. So there's two Phillips head screws on this side. This thing's a pretty old snowblower. I think I was told it was like 12 years old. Can't say for sure, but okay. So there's a ground wire here. For now, we should be able to leave this out of the way. Leave it there. I'm gonna it's not gonna come off easy. So I'm gonna take this screw off, and then we'll dig into this a little more. Okay. Overall, this thing looks like it's in pretty good shape. Okay, so let's get this wire off just so it's out of our way, and then we're going to take off I think we're going to take the carburetor off as a whole. This looks like a little like vent line. We're going to pop that off. Put that out of our way for now. And this is your gas line. I know this thing has a full tank of gas, so we got to crimp this off or something, or pull it off and jam something in it. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to need 10mm open-ended wrench to get the whole carburetor off as one. I think that's probably my best bet. So let's do that real quick. I think before we take everything off, I'm gonna take this off. Alright, so this guy just goes in here and it flips that back and forth. That's what this goes to. And if you look, that's your choke. So, alright, so let's get a wrench and take that off, and let's see if we can get this other stuff off after we get, yeah, we'll do that after. Yep, so that's an 8mm. And I'm just taking this off to get it out of my way. And this is just the thing that grounds out, so that way it can shut it off. So the way this works, if you ever have trouble with it, is, hopefully you can see this stuff. The way this works is when this is in, it keeps the this wire up and out of the way, and when it's down, this wire grounds to this, which grounds to this piece of metal, which then grounds to the engine, and it just shuts it off. So we have it just dangling off of here. It won't do anything. But if you ran this with nothing on here, you could just touch this to ground and it would shut off. So if you're trying to test run this, make sure this thing isn't touching anything. Alright, so here's my 10 mil. Seriously, that's 11 mil? Alright, I thought these were 10. So let's go grab the correct one. Now, my theory on this is it's got water in the carburetor. They really want you to take this off first. So let me see what we can do about getting this gas line off and not covering myself in gas. Alright. So I'm going to take this gas line off, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get gas everywhere. My plan is to jam this. Well, you just jam something like a drill bit. That's what I'm using for this in there, so that way I don't get gas totally everywhere. And that should stop it, at least enough for what we're doing. Alright, so now if I could get this on there. There we go. These ones are always fun to get back on, but they usually thread easy. So alright, so let's get these two nuts off. Yeah, we didn't even run this because we know there's issues with it not staying running. For a while there it would run with the choke on full, but then it just started bogging down. Like I said, I think this carburetor is just cracked up, more or less. Alright, so now you gotta make sure you get that out. That was in the furthest back, and this one was right there. Hopefully I put it in the right place when I take it back out, apart. Alright. So, what we're going to go do now is we're going to go take this apart and clean it out and see what's going on with it. My guess is this is the biggest problem, the biggest offender on this. So, alright, we'll be right back. Alright, I cracked it open. Not the cruddiest thing I've ever seen. I would say water definitely got in at some point. Kind of, I bet you if you look, it's going to be hard to see. There's not a lot of light. There's gelled gas in there. I bet you the problem with this, which means we should empty that gas, the gas can on it, is, the gas tank, excuse me, is, I bet you it's all gelled fuel from using stabilizer. Overall, this doesn't look that bad, and it's hard to see in my pan down there. I should have looked a little more closely, but if you look in here, you can also see there's some rust, contamination. It was actually eating through the bowl. Right there. It was starting to eat directly through. Here's your gasket. Make sure you don't lose that. So what we need to do, you can see how cruddy this guy is too. we need to just clean up all these orifices. That's a funny word. It's all cruddy in here. Clean up all these, and I bet you this thing will run fine. Now, we're not going to go too crazy with this. Let's pop out this pin. I don't know if we have the greatest view, but this pin comes out. And then you can get this straight out. And this is your needle valve, which looks absolutely clean, so that's a good sign. And we'll shoot some. Basically, we just need to get all that crap out of here. This looks like it. Yeah, it's closed off. Yeah, I would say the problem with this one is probably gelled fuel. And the most common cause of that is stabilizer. So that's what I was seeing a lot of here. And the fact that it was running okay for a while, it makes a lot of sense. There isn't much to clean up on this. That's the other thing. This is a pretty much a sealed unit. And that's a vent. This is where that vent hose went in, right there. And the vent leads up into this little chamber here. So it makes sense why that was kind of a little cruddy looking. So I say this one is probably as simple as just giving it a good clean. It should be good to go. So let's try this out first. We'll just make sure it's nice and clean. We'll throw it back on there. And I bet you it's going to be fine. Oops, we lost our needle. Which we'll worry about in a minute. I'm going to put this back together, but before we should be able to just drop that down in there and then line this up with it. So you just got to make sure that little clip, I don't know if we'll be able to do this here. Let me get the pin back in. And then I'll see if I can give you more of a close-up. Don't have the best cameras for close-ups today, but okay. So as you see, let's see down here. Look in that area. There's a little flat piece that just hooks over, and that makes the needle go up and down. So. And all that does is it stops the gas flow from coming when it comes in. When the bowl is all the way up, it stops flowing gas into the bowl. So now, on this bowl, since this piece is further down, this usually means that that's where the bowl can come down further inside of it. So, we gotta, of course, forgot, put our gasket back on, which is a little cruddy looking, but I think it'll be fine. Then we put our bowl so it's faced that way. Just make sure it fits down alright. And then I'm going to give this a more quick spray down. Make sure everything's off of it. Looks like there's still some crap on here. If you had like an ultrasonic park cleaner or something, this is the time for that. Yeah, there's a lot of just corrosion on this. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. You just want to make sure the gas is flowing through here fine. I'm just taking off some of the crap. Yeah, it's flowing fine. So, you just got to make sure that those are nice and clean and they come up through the top. And if you look really close, I know that probably this camera is not the right one for this. Not a lot of light, but if you were to look down in the center there, there's a little tiny opening. You just want to make sure that the stuff goes through. Oh, there's even another one. Okay, so I'm spraying this, you can see it shooting out the side. If you look really, really hard, I didn't even notice this one. There's another little tiny vent right there on the top. So you got to make sure that that works too, that it's going through. So now all we're going to do, put this back on. And normally down the center, this is technically the jet on this one. On other carburetors, the jet is down the center and you use a flathead screwdriver to get it out. Alright, so this should be fine as long as that's the problem. So what I have to do next, and I may or may not show this, is I have to drain all the gas out of this thing, and we're going to put nice new fresh gas in it. Because my guess is there's still some more sludgy stuff in there. Alright, so all we missed was I just slid this on and I pushed this on because I wanted to make sure we didn't get a huge amount of gasoline inside the house. So I'm going to do temporarily. Just because there's a little bit left in there. Throw that on, or do nothing. Here, we'll leave that upwards for now. So instead of throwing that on there, we'll do that, because we need to get our 2 bolts. I say bolts, our nuts. On here, which is fun when you have gloves on. And you have to do this one with the gasoline off. This one on the other side, which you may or may not be able to see. You just have to, I'm sticking a finger behind where the bolt goes on this, because on these engines this isn't like a solid shaft that goes back, it's an actual bolt. If you look really far over here, you can see the bolt on the other end. So we're going to tighten that down. It doesn't need to be ridiculously tight. I usually finger tighten them down all the way and then go a little bit further without snapping them all. This one. Is going to be the one. You just need that little bit more. Okay. So that's that. Make sure if you push this up out of the way to get back there, you went like that. And this is the governor on these. So now, of course, I forgot to put the little bar back in. You really should put that bar back in that goes in here before you put all this back together. But I'll probably have to just bend it a little bit. I'll make it work. So, looks to me, just gonna so I just bend it to get it back into place. You want to make sure it's pretty straight. Looks right. We may have to mess with that. We'll see. I guess it has the full swing there. We'll mess with this. I'm not going to put the whole thing back together before that. So, all right, let's put the gas line on. Grab this. Needle nose pliers would be a hell of a lot easier for this. It's just I'm too lazy to go grab them. Alright, that should be good enough for that. And this came around like this. So, now we should be good enough to at least try to start it after we put a little bit of gas in here. So I'm going to go put just a shot of gas in it, enough to get it going, and then we're going to run it and we're going to see what it's like. If it runs like crap, well, we know there's either something else wrong with it or this carburetor needs to be cleaned up a bit more. I do have a new spark plug for it, but I know that didn't change anything. It's got the old one on it right now, but we probably should throw that on there too. So let's go get a little bit of gas and we'll try to get it running. Should be plenty. So we got it to run. What concerns me about this thing is the idle circuit doesn't seem to be working on the carburetor. It's running okay, but it's not running great, and if you try to idle it down at all, it just doesn't work. So yeah, it's really cold outside. So probably in the next video, we're either going to replace this carburetor or we are going to dig into the rest of it and see. Because, like, I'm almost thinking, like, maybe something else is going on. I need to do a little more research. That's what it comes down to. I'm leaning towards the idle circuit is not working in this carburetor, and there might be a little more crap in there than we can see. But we cleaned out all the passageways that we could see easily on it. We didn't go really in depth into the carburetor here. Okay, so real quick, I was doing some research on this, and so far you can order the carburetor for this. Mine is an LH195SB, and it costs $11.56. So I just wanted to throw that in real quick. It's cheap. You'll find the link below. We'll add to the video how this works. From everything I read, it's going to be fine. So I'm going to do some research on this engine, and when I have time to fix it, that'll be another video. So like, subscribe. Any parts or anything that I'm going to buy for this, I'll include in the link below. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one.